Hey folks, welcome back. We are going to get into a new playlist. Yes, the learning is going to be much more interesting and this is much awaited playlist. Yes, it's Linux device drivers. I have been getting a lot of requests from my subscribers about the Linux device drivers development and they wanted sessions on that, and today we are getting into that level where we will have a lot of information about the Linux device drivers. We are going to have multiple sessions one after another and it will be certainly interesting. Well, let's get into the content. We need to understand that Linux device drivers is all with fundamental programming knowledge. You can grow deeper as well as it's very interesting and fun. We should be very thankful to the entire Linux community for a simple reason that they made everything free. And you need not pay a penny for you to access the code, and it's absolutely free, and that is a real good thing that we are all having in hand. Well, so let's go into the content straight away. Linux is absolutely free. Community support is excellent. Most importantly, you get the access to the source code. Multi-platform support is there. Rich features are there which will certainly encourage you to go dive deeper into Linux. Well, there are some prerequisites that I want you to go ahead and do before we start the work. It's like you need to issue certain commands in your terminal, which are all displayed here. I will also copy paste this clearly in the description section so that you can follow it up. We need to get the system updated properly, and that's what is given by sudo apt-get update. And we need to install something over there also. I have given all those packages clearly. And above all these, please have fundamental know-how very clear in terms of Linux commands, also C programming with pointers concepts. If you know all this, it's going to be very easy for you. If you do not know, don't worry, I'll explain you the moment I start coding part. It will be easy for you. Well, what's a device driver? It's simple. The name driver tells you the story. It shall control or it will manage the hardware units. I have a mouse, I have a Bluetooth adapter, I have something. I need to manage, I need to control. And how do I do it? Very simple. I do it through the driver. Device drivers are of two variants, in fact, or I can call it this way. They can work in the kernel space or they can work in the low privileged user space, which is called as low privilege mode. So we need to understand two terminologies here. One is what is device driver. It is something that will drive, that will hold the control of the devices that are getting attached to it, the hardware units that are getting attached to the equipment. And another side of it, there are two spaces that you need to understand. One is kernel space, another one is user space. Just remember this. Before we go into coding, there are some terminologies that are very fundamental, so do not hesitate learning them. First one, let's understand what exactly is user space and what exactly is kernel space and how are they important. Well, this is certainly a very important interview question as well, and the difference comes in terms of the memory usage as well as the access rights. More the rights you have, better the privileges you have, you call yourself to be in the kernel space. Lesser the privileges you have, lesser the rights you have, you call yourself to be in the user space. Simple. The user space has got less privileges, the kernel space has got higher privileges, and kernel space is always superior, right? So I'm going to talk about it a little detailed right now and we will understand things better. You can see that in the picture, I have got kernel space and I have got user space here. In the user space, I have got the user processes running like process A, B, C, etc. They're all running here. And here the kernel space is available and it has got the next unit here which is called as hardware. So the hardware is nothing but the disk, RAM, video card, whatever you could see as peripherals, they are all coming in the picture. Let's get a detailed understanding here. Kernel space is where you get the kernel completely staying. This is the place where the kernel resides and it runs from there. Simple. Kernel stays there, so we call it kernel space. You are staying in a place and that's your space. Very simple. Kernel is staying there and that's called as kernel space. That's how we need to conclude. The kernel has got a memory connected to it and it's called kernel memory. This area is completely owned, completely controlled by kernel. Kernel has got the fullest authority and this area is very carefully protected. No other user apps can really get into this area and they cannot even touch it. Even by mistake, it will not happen. So that space is highly protected and it's a very important point to remember. The kernel space is protected. The kernel can access the complete system memory, which means the kernel has the highest privilege. The kernel has the highest priority. So all these are important aspects of it. Now remember, kernel is staying in the area and that area is called kernel space and it has got the complete access, ownership, control, everything, and nobody else can go ahead and disturb that. Well, what is the user space? This is a normal space. Any application, you take your NEdit, you take your gedit, you take anything for that matter, all these programs, applications that you are running from your end, they are all called as the user space content. They have got restricted access. They cannot do anything with respect to the kernel area. Means the CPU access is completely restricted to the memory area, which is tagged and connected only to the user space. You cannot enter anyone's house. You are in your house, you cannot enter into anyone's house. So you've got limited access within your house. That's all. That's how we need to say. You cannot gain, or you cannot own control in any other's house. So do we have any other way that the apps can run in kernel space? Yes, there is an option. That's system call. I have taught you a lot of system calls in my Linux playlist, right? So just remember that. What is a system call? A system call is a function which is very specific to the operating system. For example, we can call fork, we can take read, write, close, dupe to. Multiple system calls are there which are very specific, very specific to Linux, and you can use them. They cannot be accessed otherwise. They are runnable, they are usable, specific to the system, and hence we call it system call. It's like a function, simple. Now we can let our apps run in kernel space with this kind of system calls being used. So when the system calls are invoked, what happens? Immediately a software interrupt will be sent to the kernel. I'll raise an interrupt, I'll raise an alarm to the kernel. The kernel then turns on the privileged mode so that the process can go ahead and run in the kernel space. Remember, the system calls, the moment they are invoked, there is an alert which gets raised, and this alert is like an interrupt which will go on and turn on the privileged mode, and the process can run in the kernel space. Right. Once the system call is all done, once it is back to normalcy, the kernel will turn off the privileged mode and it will be back to normal mode. Simple. This is called the difference between the user space and the kernel space. Kernel space is privileged, user space is non-privileged. All your programs will run in the user space, and when you want to run the application in the kernel space, the only way to do it is to go ahead with system calls. The system calls will enable your applications to run there. That's all. This session is an introductory session. We'll have more content which is more practical, as well as code will be started shortly. Stay tuned. I need your support. If you like the channel and the content, kindly subscribe and type your comments. I'll be able to answer them as well. Thank you very much for following my channel and content. I look forward to seeing you again very soon.